Hi, McCartney. Michelle here. I wanted to give you some feedback on your diversity story. So first of all, I guess it's kind of a stretch to have this be a diversity story. I was thinking of, you know, um, uh, and I think I talked about this, people who usually aren't interviewed or topics that aren't covered because of either their ethnicity, their gender, that sort of thing. I know you had a great idea before for this, and I know it fell through, so I'm not going to count you down on this. You did what you could, and that's kind of what a good journalist does. So I just wanted to point out that this really wasn't kind of in the spirit of what I wanted these stories to be, but I totally understand. Um, Having said that, I think you did a really good job with this story. Um, it's interesting. You have multiple sources. You have a really clear writing style. Honestly, I just kind of touched up some things. Um, and I would kind of look at this because I think it's mainly about being more concise and more direct. So I would encourage you to look at the changes, and if you have any questions, let me know. Um, again, it's kind of like looking for ways to be as concise as possible. Um, so, like, here's an example. Hartman isn't the only person in Lincoln who has become hooked on brewing. His or her own, why not just say hooked on brewing kombucha? Um, so, little things like that. I always try to get rid of you anywhere I can. Um, that's not what we're really talking about there. You did a good job describing it. I would call it trendy. Locals master the art of brewing trendy tea. I see. Trendy tea beverage. I think, yeah, I kind of misread that headline. Um, I'll go ahead and change that back. Okay, so anyway, take a look at that. Let's talk about the video. Actually, on the video, I think you did a pretty good job. I might have tried to get a little bit closer to him. The framing, so there's kind of a lot of space here. Maybe just, getting a little closer to him. I mean, the lower, the actual using the rule of thirds is good here. Let me just show you one thing that was a little bit annoying to me. Well, first of all, it's kind of shaky, so I'm not sure if you were using a tripod, but you should be, especially when you are interviewing a subject. So you can see it shakes quite a bit.
I had a few like really close friends that were super into it, and I was like, and they
Okay, so this um, to me feels out of sequence. I know what it is from the story, but let's say I just watched the video. I feel like that needs to come at the end after we've kind of seen the process. So I might consider, either using some of the sequences you have here where he's in the kitchen, um, kind of starting that process, but it's just a little jarring to see this when we don't really have the perspective. Um, I think at the end of this, if you could show him maybe putting those jars together, that might help. But that just kind of on its own as one piece of uh, B-roll is a little bit confusing. it's going to make more sense if we've kind of seen him in the kitchen. So maybe moving some of those forward and then picking up some of those later. Not sure, but that would be my suggestion. So a little bit shaky, B-roll a little bit not as coherent as it could be, but good job overall. Let me know if you have any questions.